life with Tao. A child is your karma. The child is your karma. Karma is a Hindi word used in Sanatan Sanskriti. It means a psychological law. A child being your karma means that children are not your possession or project to mold. You are not here to mold a child. A child is an independent soul who has chosen you as a passage into this life to fulfill their own destiny. I categorically repeat it again so that it gets imprinted on your mind and becomes your deep understanding. A child being your karma simply means that children are not your possessions or projects to mold. Instead, a child is an independent soul who has chosen you as a passage into this life to fulfill their own destiny. Yes, parents provide an environment. I have chosen my parents because the kind of environment I needed for fulfillment of life was provided, was available in that family. Verily, a child serves as a mirror to your own spiritual growth. Verily, a child serves as a mirror to your own spiritual growth. Remember this. A child is born through you, not from you. A child is born through you, not from you. Never consider parenthood as an ownership right, but a deep spiritual assignment. Children are independent souls drawn to parents through the magnetic law of karma. Children are independent souls drawn to parents through the magnetic law of karma. Rather than being mere extensions of parents' desires, instead, children are mirrors that reflect the unrefined, unfinished lessons, consciousness, and energies of the parents themselves. Rather than being a mere extension of parental desire, in a deeper sense, children are mirrors that reflect the unfinished lessons, consciousness, and energies of the parents themselves. A child is a mirror. A child is a mirror rather than the child owing you for taking care of them. It is suggested that the child is being compassionate towards you. Your interactions with them, your interaction with your children provide you with an opportunity to learn non-attachment patience, and unconditional love. A child has his own future. A child has his own future and destiny. The only safety you can offer them is of pure love, not a heavy sense of responsibility, burden, or duty. Parents should learn the art of non-doing, giving them the space to explore the uncharted unknown without interference. It is hard, but this is the truth, the way. Karma is psychological law on a broader sense, on a broader level. Karma is an intrinsic psychological process rather than a mechanical cosmic tally sheet. Actions against your true nature. Remember, all actions against your true nature are registered in the unconscious as guilt, while actions aligned to your nature create a sense of worth and ease. Traditional Sanatan concept of law of karma is not a rigid, punishing, cosmic ledger or preordained destiny, but as an intrinsic psychological process and a mechanism of unconscious habits. Law of karma is a magnetic field where your inner state of being, thoughts, and actions naturally attract their corresponding reactions in your life. It is a magnetic law of attraction. Remember, karma operates much like natural magnetism. If your energy is fragmented and you act blindly, you generate a centrifugal force that causes misery, chaos, and lack of harmony. Karma fundamentally means taking total responsibility for your happiness and suffering, all that is happening in and around you. Your unconscious actions register internally as guilt or unworthiness. This creates a magnetic pattern. Or a habit loop that draws more of same into your life on a day-to-day existence. There is an important saying, birds of the same feather flock together. It is the expression of this saying. Karma fundamentally means taking total responsibility of your happiness, misery, and suffering. Your unconscious actions register internally as guilt or unworthiness. This becomes a magnetic pattern or a habit loop and draws more of the same similar patterns into your day-to-day life and existence. Karma is that it strictly applies to the unconscious mind. Karma strictly applies to unconscious mind. If you act robotically out of past conditionings and habits, you remain chained to karma, reaction, not actions or responses, known as unconscious mind versus the enlightened mind. When you live in the present moment with intense awareness, when you live in the present moment with intense awareness, you cease to react. Instead, there is a response from you as guided by the circumstances and situations and your own inner state. An enlightened person does not create new karma. They operate under the law of power rather than necessity, experiencing absolute freedom from the past burdens. When we interact, we live our life with the past burdens. An awakened person in whom the light has verily begun to enter, he acts in a totally different manner. Traditional and religious establishments use karma to keep the masses docile. A good action brings a good effect, and a bad karma brings a bad effect. It is cause and effect. Intrinsically and immediately, the idea of committing a bad deed now and suffering in the next life is an illusion designed by the priesthood to maintain the status quo. The immediate consequence of anger, for example, is the internal poison and turmoil you experience while you are angry. When you are angry, you experience internal poison and turmoil. Isn't it so? Is it not your experience? To shift out of the magnetic cycle of unconscious karma, the transition to the law of magic is needed. One can actively create the effect of happiness, ecstasy, or love in the present moment. Let your each word be quoted and presented in such a way that one feels the traces, the fragrance of your own ecstasy and happiness flowing through the love in the present moment. By acting totally and choosing to be blissful now, you bypass old causes. When a circumstance and situation comes in life, you have two options: to be happy or not to be happy. It is your choice. And in most cases, what we choose, to be unhappy. You bypass all by acting totally and choosing to be blissful now, this very moment, as you are interacting, you bypass all causes. Existence must then naturally follow your chosen effect, breaking the cycle of robotic actions. In Khalil Gibran's classic masterpiece, The Prophet, Al-Mustafa is the central protagonist, a mystic and a spiritual guide who has spent 12 years exiled in the city of Orphalese. And Al-Mitra is the city's chief seeress and a pivotal character, acting as his closest confidant. These are two important characters. In simple words, Al-Mustafa is the master and Al-Mitra is the disciple. There is a dialogue between master and disciple. Al-Mustafa, the prophet, is known as the chosen and the beloved. He has lived among the town folks for 12 years while patiently waiting for the ship to carry him back to his homeland, waiting for the ship to come and take him back to his homeland. He is the primary source of wisdom, awakening, and understanding. He shares profound spiritual philosophies and insights on over 24 everyday topics, ranging from love, marriage, children, and death. He represents the spiritual travelers searching for unity with the universe, congruence, oneness with the universe. His character is often compared to the figures of Jesus or the Buddha, as he suffers on behalf of the humanity's disharmony and promises to return. Al-Mitra, on the other hand, is the seerist. Al-Mitra, the seerist, is the priestess of the city. Historically, she was the very first person in the city to believe in and follow Al-Mustafa, the first disciple of the Master Al-Mustafa. She is the catalyst for the entire narrative. When she realizes his ship has arrived and he must leave, she convinces him to delay the departure and share his wisdom about life and death. She is the one who initiates the dialogue between her and Al-Mustafa. She is the one who initiates dialogue by asking about on love and marriage. Al-Mitra acts as the bridge between the prophet and the community. Many literary scholars believe she symbolizes Mary Haskell, the real life mentor and close companion of the author Khalil Gibran. Al-Mitra holds a deep enigmatic respect for her master Al-Mustafa. Her timeline frames the entire narrative of the book, The Prophet. She is the first to believe in him at his arrival, and at the end, she is left standing on the sea she is first to believe in him at his arrival, and at the end she is left standing on the sea wall alone, meditating on his promise to return. In The Prophet, Khalil Gibran gives a profound dialogue on parenting through the character of the Prophet Al-Mustafa. When a woman named Al-Mitra asks him to speak on children, it is a very important and eye-opening dialogue between the master and disciple. Your children are not your children. Al-Mustafa tells Al-Mitra, and through her he speaks to the entire humanity. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, not from you. They come through you, not from you. You are the passage. You pass through the door, but you do not come from the door. Door is a passage through which you come inside and go out. Same way, parents are the doors through which the children enter the life, and though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. And though they are with you, yet they do not belong to you. Give them your love. Mine they will have of their own. This message has a deeper meaning based on certain factors. Independence is the first. Remember, children are unique individuals. Their own mind and understanding, therefore they should not be considered as parental property. A child is life's longing for itself. In this process, parents act as biological channels, not the creator of a child's soul. They create the child's body, but not the soul. Soul enters the body when this soul finds the suitable womb to enter. Millions of people are making love every day. A soul chooses the right womb to enter. You may not know at that moment. Later on, when the problem comes in with your child, you may regret, but the child, just like your spouse, is your greatest test of understanding. Parent can house a child's body, but must respect their thoughts and understanding. Khalil later compares parents to bow and children to living arrows. Khalil compares parents to bows and children as living arrows. God is the archer who bends the parent with might so that the arrow may fly swift and far. The analogy Khalil uses, parents are the bows, children are living arrows, and God is the archer. God who bends the parents, the bow, with might so that arrow may fly swift and far. Children are spiritual mirrors for the parents. If you understand this, life moves in a different dimension. Children are spiritual mirrors for the parents. If a child displays anger, disobedience, or negativity, it is almost always a reflection of parents' own unaddressed habits, ego, or hidden conditionings. Therefore, instead of scolding the child, it is necessary for parent to practice inner self-reflection and transformation. Know this as transmigration of souls. Know this as transmigration of souls. Khalil Gibran's famous verse from the Prophet emphasizes that while children come through the parents, they do not belong to them. Such is the response of the Master Al-Mustafa to the question raised by the disciple Al-Mitra, Master, what about children? Al-Mustafa is the book's titular prophet, one who does not represent a standard theological role, office, or biological title. Al-Mustafa, the prophet, does not represent a standard theosophical role, office, or biological title. Instead, the term typically combines the word titular, meaning holding a title or a status in name only, without actual duties of domain with the prophet. A person regarded as an inspired teacher or a proclaimer of God's will. At the beginning of this story, he sees a ship from his home country approaching to retrieve him from Orphalese, where he has lived for last 12 years. He has spent these years roaming among the hills outside town in a profound spiritual quest, which has caused the town people to see him as aloof. But the town people clearly seem to recognize the prophet's spiritual power and authority that was vested in Al-Mustafa. Since they delay his departure by assailing him with flooding him with questions about life's fundamental issues, and they lament when he leaves. Al-Mustafa's background and reason for coming to Orphalese remains a mystery, as does his life after he departs. And despite his apparent divine favor and his resulting insights into nature of things, which he divulges at length over the course of this of an afternoon, Al-Mustafa comes of a pained, melancholic figure. His life is a pained, melancholic figure. The journey through the Prophet by Khalil Gibran continues as I look into the various dimensions of child being your karma. It is the child soul that has chosen you to be his parents. Enough for now.